Hey pros, Crystal here from Elite Hair Care USA. So today we are going to talk about 4 reasons why your hair is so dry and what you can do about it. Now before I get into the details, please don't forget hit that subscribe button and also be ready to thumbs up this video and comment down below because guess what? This is all a family thing. All right, so let's get straight into it. What are the 4 reasons why your hair could be super dry? So we'll just go straight into it. And let's start with reason number 1, lack of knowledge. We always like to think that we know everything when it comes onto our hair. We feel like we know our hair, right? Which directly you should. You really should know your hair. But a lot of times, some of you are going off of bad information. Some of you are going off of videos you may have watched, whether it be mine or someone else's. Some of you are going off of just past experience with other people. Some of you are watching celebrities, whatever. When really, most of it or the bulk of it just comes from just lack of knowledge, lack of experience. So I'll use an example. Some of you are basing your dryness or what your hair needs off of your texture. Others of you are basing it off of information you may have received from someone else by looking at someone else's hair. When really the roadmap to understanding what your hair really needs, especially in situations where it could be dehydrated or dry, is understanding your porosity. And a lot of you don't even know the difference between porosity and texture. They are 2 totally different things, but they both go hand in hand to create an actual roadmap for you to get to where you're going, right? So porosity is basically how the hair retains moisture in but so many words. So there's 3 different types of porosity. There's low, medium, and high. Most of you in the natural family, unless you're chemically altered, unless you are very fine in texture, typically resonate with the low porosity side, meaning your hair does not really retain moisture or it doesn't really absorb that moisture really well. Others could be medium. Others could also be high. High meaning you absorb anything that the hair touches, but it also expels it almost immediately. So it's a constant cycle. With that being said, some of you will look at your hair and say, well, I'm a 4C and my hair holds no moisture. Well, 4C hair is describing the texture. It's not describing the porosity. So once again, the 2 go hand in hand. Your porosity is going to tell you how well your hair is absorbing that moisture and retaining that moisture, where your texture is telling you how the hair feels and how the hair curls or coils in regards to the pattern, okay? So once you know both of these and you put them together, you are really about 75 to 90% on your way to understanding your hair and what it really needs. So I highly recommend, if you've never done this, do a porosity test. See what your hair porosity is. Then I also recommend looking at a strand or 2 of your hair and determining what your actual texture is. Once you know if you're a 4C, a 3A, 3B, 4B, 2A, whatever, and you know your porosity, now you can say, okay, I am low porosity and 4C. So that means that my hair does not absorb moisture really well. That's number 1. And number 2, my curl pattern makes it even more complicated for me to be able to absorb or retain that moisture. Once you know that, that's going to set you up to know whether you need a liquid-based product, a cream-based product, a gel-based product, whether you need to seal the hair with a silicone or something of that nature, whether you need to be under a hooded dryer when you are doing your treatments with your Elite Hair Care products, whether you need to be hydration steaming a little more often, whether you need protein to strengthen the fact that the hair is weak from being high porosity. Maybe you don't need to moisturize as much as you're moisturizing. This is going to really get you in the realm of understanding the characteristics of your hair in specific, because those 2 things make up the unique identity of your hair. So lack of knowledge is definitely going to be something that we all have to be in tune with, which is more than likely the reason why you're watching this video. So we're going to make sure that we understand the 2, texture and porosity, and then we're going to create our roadmap from there. Now, leading from reason number 1, we're going to go into reason number 2, bad advice. Bad advice bad advice and bad advice. So let's talk about bad advice. You go to your friend. Your friend has this really coily, fine textured, beautiful curl pattern to you, because every curl pattern is beautiful. But to you, her curl pattern is absolutely amazing. And you're asking her, girl, what product do you use to get your curl pattern that way? In the meantime, your hair is coarse. Your curl pattern is so tight that you can't really comb it too often because it pops. But you're asking her what product she's using, and her hair type, texture, and porosity is completely opposite from yours. So that is what I call bad advice. That's one way of getting bad advice, because you're taking advice from someone who cannot relate. You're taking advice from someone whose hair is nothing like yours. They're in no relation to yours. There's no product that you guys are going to use that's exactly the same, rather than maybe a shampoo and a conditioner. Okay? Other ways of bad advice is you guys go and you watch these videos of people who are somewhat like you or not even like you, and then they're telling you what they did to get their hair to grow down their back. So you're now using that same advice to say, okay, how can I get my hair to grow down my back? Well, let's talk about hair growth really quick. Hair growth and hair length and length retention doesn't just start with how you're taking care of your hair, but it's also a part of your genetics. If you notice, families of people who have very long hair, typically it follows down the bloodline, no matter if it's male or female, because it's genetically possible. It's within their chromosomes. Now, that doesn't say that your hair can't grow long. That doesn't say that you're not going to be able to retain length. But typically, your genetics start first. They play a role in everything you're doing first. So if she is Latina with Afro-Latina type hair, she has that beautiful coil, what some of us will say is a beautiful coil. Some of us might not, so don't worry about that part. But she has that really nice coil or curl pattern. She has fine textured hair, but it still kind of has that fullness because it's a coil. And now here you come with your beautiful ethnic African hair who has a tighter coil. You don't have fine textured hair. You have medium to coarse textured hair. But you're trying to use the same thing that he or she is demonstrating in the video for your hair. They don't go hand in hand, you guys. So once again, that falls under the category of somewhat bad advice. So you really want to make sure that you are really relating to someone who is extremely close to where you are, or they are where you are, before you take their advice. All hair is not created equal. None of us will have the same hair. My hair is fine textured and relaxed. Does that mean that your hair care is going to match mine? No. Hence the reason why I do well-rounded videos to talk about all types of scenarios, because I know that not everyone can relate to me. And being a hair care brand owner, I have to make sure that you guys have a complete understanding that everybody's not going to relate to you. So I try to make sure that these videos are in tune with what I know is going on out in the real world with real people like yourself. So stop taking the bad advice, you guys. Like I said, look for people who are in relation to you. Sometimes it has to be about skin color. Sometimes it has to be about hair texture. Sometimes it has to be about experience. Sometimes it has to be about curl pattern. Sometimes it has to be about porosity. But find people that will relate to you before you take their advice, okay? And when I say find people, not people like myself. And when I say not people like myself, I'm going to exclude myself because my videos are for information purposes for you. So if there's a person like myself who is a broad spectrum and they're talking about different situations that relate to you, those are people you want to take better advice from because they are giving you well-rounded information and not just about themselves, if that makes sense. All right, so that was point number 2. So now let's go to point number 3. You're using the wrong products. You're using the wrong products. You're using the wrong products. And you guys know I like to say it a third time. You're using the wrong products. Okay. Some of you are not basing your product usage on your porosity and your texture first. You guys are just going based off of this product sounds nice and it has an ingredient that I like. Maybe it may be babasu oil. Maybe it's coconut oil. Maybe it's neem oil. Maybe it's coconut oil. So you're basing your hair care off of one thing and not really paying attention to what your hair is telling you that it really needs. So when I say wrong products, just because a product says it has coconut oil in it, that doesn't mean that it's automatically amazing for your hair. What are the main characteristics of these products that you're using? So for my dry hair people, I'll give you guys some products that you can use. Let's talk about it. Typically, if you are low porosity and dry, okay, low porosity and dry, number one, you're gonna use a hair mask more than you'll use a standard conditioner. That is the reason why with Elite Hair Care products, we actually offer masks and instant conditioners all in the same place, because we know that low porosity hair needs a mask. It needs a creamier base. It needs a thicker base, right? Because you're already lacking moisture. That's number one. And number two, you need something that is going to coat the strand and not just dissipate on contact. So I highly recommend hair masks over instant conditioners. So some hair masks that you can use is our Moist Me 24 karat mask, our B7, which is our biotin mask. The biotin mask is more for slight strengthening, but moisture as well. Intense moisture would be the Moist Me 24 karat mask. For those of you who have kind of a mixture of issues, you can put them together. We also have our split end or our mended collection mask. That's for those of you who have a lot of split ends, who are dealing with a lot of frizziness. That is going to handle that. Now, if you guys notice, each mask that I recommended is for different reasons. So for the sake of this video, we're going to talk all about moisture per se. So you're going to be using the Moist Me 24 karat mask rather than any of the other two for you to help with your hydration or your moisturizing of your actual hair. Now, if you guys heard me say at the beginning, it's about low porosity, right? I specifically said low porosity hair. Low porosity hair requires heat. If you are not using a hooded dryer or a hydration steamer on that hair for a minimum of 15 minutes, really and truly, you're just building up product. You're just putting product on the hair for a temporary fix on the exterior. And that's only gonna last you maybe an hour to 2 hours for that day, and then you're back to feeling dry again. So with low porosity hair, this is a constant thing, you guys. This is not a one size fit all, and this is gonna fix my problem going forward. No, this is going to be your wash day every 7 to 14 days because your hair lacks that moisture on a constant basis. That is a part of being low porosity. Now, if you're high porosity, I'd more say use the biotin hair mask because it has a little bit of moisture and it has a little bit of strength. High porosity hair is typically lacking in strength and it will take in the moisture too. So you want to give it a well-rounded effect of both. You want to give it both, okay? Outside of that, you guys, shampoo. You guys know we have our Moist Repair shampoo. Absolutely amazing for moisturizing the hair. Some of you are using shampoos that really have no benefit. They just smell good and they sound nice. And that is the reason why I bred life to Elite Hair Care, because I knew that there was a need for products that actually had purpose. So our products are built with purpose. They're not built by, oh, this smells great. Yeah, that's great. But we are in the business of repairing issues, not just putting a band-aid on a boo-boo. We are repairing the issue. So that is what Moist Repair is all about. It is a moisture reparation shampoo. Okay, so it's made to repair the actual issue with you having moisture at that time. Now, does that mean it's a one size fit all? No. Does that mean you only have to use it once and never use it again? Absolutely not. This is a constant thing. It does require you to be consistent as it would be with anything else that you're doing, okay? Lastly, if you're dealing with very dry hair, think about sealing the cuticle at the end of your wash day. And when I say sealing your cuticle, that starts with your leave-in conditioner. Some of you are skipping leave-in conditioner. Your leave-in conditioner is your sealer. It's gonna seal the deal at the end of the process. So I'd highly recommend, once again, our Moist Repair leave-in conditioner. We have an entire system that is designed towards hair that is low porosity or extremely dry. They go hand in hand, okay? Now, let's talk about point number 4. Point number 4 goes with point number 3. So you guys know I just kind of go in the same realm. Point number 4, you're overdoing it. You're overdoing it. Some of you have 1,600 products in your product arsenal right now, And out of 1,600 products, and you know I'm over exaggerating, but out of 1,600 products, you're literally only using 2. And the reason why you have that many products is because you did not follow the roadmap, as I said at the beginning. If you go back to point 1, it tells you automatically where to start. If you know your start line, you cannot get confused going forward. Now, there's going to be some turnoffs here and there, but the end result is once you know where you're going, it's the easiest part. So you're overdoing it. Some of you are putting 16 different products in your hair on wash day. That's not how it works. Okay? You have to be consistent, and you won't know what's working for you until you've consistently used it. So if you're going to use the moist repair, does that mean to just do one wash day and expect your life to ultimately change? No. You have to give products at least a minimum of 8 weeks for you to see what's working for you. Why? You're only shampooing and conditioning your hair every 7 to 14 days. And let's just say the truth here, 14 days. So if you're giving yourself 4 wash days is going to tell you if this is really beneficial to your hair and if you are following the cycle the right way. It also is going to tell you what you need to change in between. This is also the reason why I tell people that our hair care success journal is your go-to, because that is going to give you a place to keep your information about what your hair was doing on this wash day, that wash day, what products you used, and it's going to give you that retention. So you know going forward, yeah, about 4 weeks ago I used that, but I think I'm going to use a little bit more conditioner this time, blah, blah, blah. That is what our hair care success planner is designed for. And if you don't already have one, I highly recommend you get one of those as well, so that you can keep a track of your hair and understanding what your hair needs, what it's been doing, how, and keep a checkup for your hair. That is really what it is. It's a record for you. Okay. Now, those were the 4 reasons of why your hair is so dry. So I've given you, we're just going to recap all 4 really quick. Number 1, lack of knowledge. Number 2, bad advice. Number 3, wrong products. And number 4, overdoing it. Those 4 things will put you in place. Once you figure out those 4 things, the who, what, when, where, and why, you are on a straight path to your destination. And that is what? Healthier hair. If you guys notice, I didn't say healthy. There's no such thing as healthy hair. There is healthier hair, because guess what? Your hair can change within a day. Your hair can change in a week. Your hair can change in minutes. Your hair can change as your health changes. Your hair can change as you age. So there's never going to be, oh, I have healthy hair. No, you're going to always strive to have healthier hair than when you started today. That is really the goal. Not to ultimately get to healthy hair and then not care about it, because healthy is telling you that there's a stop point. There's never a stop point with hair. You're going to basically work to get to healthier hair. Okay? And you always want to outdo what you had before. Okay? So I hope this video was of some benefit to you guys. I hope you guys were able to get some good information. By the way, if you stay to the end of the video, I will give you guys a code that you can use to get 30% off any of the products that I mentioned in this video. And then of course, you guys comment down below and tell me a couple things. Let's see who knows. I need to know your porosity. I need to know your hair texture. All right? I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye.